Yeah, end of summer, an 8-week time frame that we got a lot accomplished. It was an exciting time for our veterans. I think in the standpoint that their first really full off season with us with Fletch. We did testing today. Always excited. I get excited this time of year because I can see the gains and to see a guy like Trent Frazier touch out at 11 feet 4 inches, to see a guy that comes in and Tevian Jones add 7 pounds and change his body, to see a guy like Io who came in and Io was a little bit fatigued, a little bit at the start of the summer with some obvious USA basketball obligations, and a guy that literally added leg strength, increased his quickness, increased his vertical. Those are exciting things because with that and those increases come confidence. And we threw a lot of basic, very, very basic fundamental teaching things at them this year. We literally kept it at elementary pace, and we tried to clean up some things that we know we had to be better at from last year. I've leaned on our veterans a great deal to help in that area. And then we've probably expanded just a little bit in terms of what we've put in our system, being able to advance that a little bit. So I'm excited. The veterans have done an incredible job of leading. In my time, 30 years, I've been hard pressed to find anyone who's improved more from one season to the next. And I'm going back a year to when I got here. And DeMonte Williams and what he has physically done with his body, what he's done with his game. It is like adding a completely different player and seeing that. And he's become a guy that has been vocal and a real leader. Aaron has been off the chart. We've leaned Kipper up. If you look at Kip's down 10 or 11 pounds. That's helped him in every aspect of the game, especially on the defensive side. So we're excited about that. And then Trent has been a guy that has been has really improved his game. Physically, he may not look better, but pound for pound, maybe one of the stronger guys. Not maybe, he is one of the stronger guys on our team. So he's increased his vertical a bunch. He's happy that he's around dunking balls and making it look easy now. So I'm excited about that confidence level that our veterans have made, and that's what this time of season is about. And we will get a few weeks off, and then we will reconvene here in August and September 27th, 28th, somewhere right in there. We have an early start to practice this year, and it's right around the corner. So we'll get back after it after a few weeks off, and they deserve it. And really excited, though, about the way the summer's gone.
Brad, you've added size with Adonis De La Rosa. What do you hope he adds on the court, and when do you hope to see him on the court?
Well, I don't want to put a timetable on when we see him. I think that's everybody's different. We heard various things last year with DeMonte, and we even contemplated redshirting DeMonte up until really the week before practice. So I don't want to put a timetable on him. He's a veteran. He's a grown man, and he's 7 foot. He's I guess he'll be somewhere by the time we play. He'll be in the 270 range to 280. But here's a guy who's a proven rebounder. He's an extremely skilled guy. It's been fun having him around this summer just on the sideline because you can sense his IQ and his feel for the game. Picks up things very easily. And we don't want to bring him out here until he's completely healthy but a very mature guy that obviously has some size and some skill that will help us.
Coach, so much anticipation around Trent and Io playing together and competing against each other in practice. What have you noticed them be on the same court, just that competitive relationship they have?
Well, I think they're good for each other. And I think that you throw Andres Feliz in that mix along with DeMonte, and you've got 4 guys who are going at it at a pretty high clip every single day, and they make each other better. And the one thing I love is Trent has not been afraid to step in and help, and to help. I call it nurse them along and understand what the offense is about and where the opportunities come. So he's been very, very. I've been very impressed with that about him. He's stepping into a leadership role, and yet that group together loves to compete. That's why they're here. Io's as competitive as anybody. He loves the challenge of guarding Trent. And, he's got his hands full there because Trent's an awfully good player.
You added Anthony Higgs as well. What is adding kind of more length to your front court mean for the rest of the team?
Well, make us better defensively, we hope. I think that I've said it many times, I get more involved in the recruiting process with length than I do height and size. You get a guy like DeMonte at 6'3", 6'4", and yet he's got a 6'11" wingspan. And so guys can play bigger than they truly are, and that's what's exciting. Tevian's long, Allen's long, Anthony's long. Anthony's got he's a piece that we didn't have. He's a 6'7", 6'8", 230, 235-pound guy that has a physical presence about him to go along with athleticism, and you throw in the fact that he fits the model we were after with 2 state championships. Here's a kid who's won, and we're sure excited about him stepping foot on campus.
Maybe not the first freshman that gets talked about, but what have you seen from Georgie this summer?
Georgie has done everything that we'd hoped and more. Georgie's got. I'm careful when I say this because it sounds very cliche, but he's got an old man's game. He's got a very, very mature game. His game is based on IQ, feel. He makes plays that are the right plays, but right now they're wrong because not everybody's on the same page with him. So his maturity level is beyond his years. And then, he's 240 pounds. His body fat's way down. He's got great feet. We had a situation today where he ended up on Trent and kept Trent in front of him. And then he's got tremendous length. So we need him to be a better rebounder than what he's shown this summer. But we'll start harping on that in August.
Any update on Samba Kane and when he'll be here?
Yeah, it's just a day to day. We're working on that. The academic part of that is something I don't talk about, but until we get the go ahead, and but we expect him to be here in uniform, and when school starts up in the fall.
Last summer, Tyler was probably the only one that knew your system. How much of a difference has it made, especially with as many newcomers you have? You've got 6 or 7 guys.
Yeah, it's very, very nice to have, so I don't have to lead everything. And I say when coaches have to lead everything and coach, it becomes more challenging. And now you've got those 6 guys, and there's 7 guys with Samson and Drew. Drew and Tyler know this thing inside and out. They're bringing plays into my office all the time saying, hey, we can look at this, we can look at that, it'll fit. Those are 2 future coaches who think it and understand it. So, but it's nice to have it on the court while the game's going on. A guy like DeMonte, a guy like AJ, know when to cut, know what to look for, and they can communicate that. And it's not always me having to do that. So there's, we talk about the cliche, the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. It's also the same thing about first year to second years in a program. You have veterans who know and understand what is expected, and this group has been very, very good at that this summer.
You had Thomas walk up around, Coach. What was he able to show your kids, talk to your kids about, demonstrate?
Yeah, I think there's so many things about Thomas that that our guys can learn from, and a kid that didn't have a scholarship offer to, now he's signed a tremendous contract with one of the top teams in Lithuania, and he's done it at every level. He talked to our guys about that. He worked with some of our guys on different things. Kipper spent a lot of time with him. And yet, I think he talked to our guys about me, about, what winning was and why we won at SFA when he was a part of it. And all those things are great for our guys to hear, because here's a guy who's done it. He's making a tremendous living doing it, and that's where all these guys want to get to.
As a follow-up to my last one, have there been moments in workouts where you were going to point something out that needed to be fixed, and there's a player that beat you to the punch?
Yeah, a lot. And Scott, I think the one thing I've tried to do is lean on those guys a lot more, and maybe jump on those guys a little more than the new guys. Because I want AJ to lead. He knows. I want Tyler to lead because he knows, and not let an opportunity go by to help Io, to help Allen, to help Tev, whoever it is, understand what we're doing, because it's all for the good of the team. And when we get that bond and that commitment and that unit where we're all together, then we'll really have something special.
Last year, Trent showed some signs of leadership towards the end of the season. Have you seen that continue during the summer, and how do you continue that leadership once you're practicing?
Well, I think everybody has an understanding that Trent's a very good player. And when you get leadership from one of your better players, and he's proven it, and he's proven it at a very high level. And yet, Trent's as competitive as any guy I've ever seen. He's as competitive as any guy out here, and he wants to win, and he knows to win he's got to have Io, he's got to have Georgie, he's got to have all these new guys make a commitment to winning as well. So Trent's not afraid. I've said that. He's got tremendous swagger. He's not afraid to lead. He's been very, very assertive on the court, which is much more so than last year. And I'm demanding that from him. And he's a very willing learner, and he wants that role.
Brad, with this team, there's a lot of new parts. What do you make of this schedule and what this means for this team early on?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule's obviously one of the best in the country. I said when I came here we were going to play really good people. I think when you're building, when you're establishing, let's go play the best. Let's set the standard. I mean, I think people need to understand. I'm not going to run away from anybody. We're at the University of Illinois. We're one of the best programs in the country, and you know what? I get it. There's some youth out here, and that doesn't mean we shouldn't win, and that doesn't mean we're not going to expect to win. And if we want to get where we're going to get and hope to get to, we need to play people. And playing bottom 250 down, you know what? At the end of the day, if that comes conference time and we're not ready to play, then shame on me. That's not going to happen here. We're going to play the best, and if there's some speed bumps along the way, those are growing pains. We'll take those. But Illinois basketball is going to stand for something. And this schedule is part of what we're going to stand for.
Out of the newcomers you guys have here, just who would you say has kind of picked up the system and what you're trying to do here the fastest?
Well, I don't like singling out. I think Georgie's he's got a maturity. I think Georgie's he's got a tremendous feel. He's got a tremendous understanding of what we do, and I think that's helped him. Allen's had some moments because he's run versions of what we do. And then Io is just an extremely high IQ player. Io picks things up very, very well, and they've all had their moments. But Georgie's a high IQ guy. You don't have to tell him things many times. Io's in that same mold. So guys learn at a different rate and different pace, and it's our job to get them all on the same page. But those two have been very, very good.
How has the summer been for Allen so far?
It's been very, very good. I think the one thing that's helped Allen is the weight room and getting stronger and getting tougher with the ball. And Allen's an elite shooter. He's a guy that has the ability to make very hard shots. He's got great range. He can shoot it off the bounce, and with the added strength he's gained and the weight he's gained, he's had a productive summer.
How does Andres Feliz, how does he transition? He coached the JUCO level. How does he transition to this one?
I put Andres, and I've left him out, and not intentionally. He's right there with Georgie, and he's kind of got that maturity and old man's game, so to speak. And we've been very, very pleased with the way he shot it. He's a great decision maker. Andres, even though we like to play fast, the game is slow to him. And then he's a pit bull defensively. So it's we've had some fun battles this summer watching he and Trent go at it.
You talked so much about culture last year. What's kind of your gauge of that this summer?
Better. I think that I'll hold ultimate judgment until we get everybody here. but I love the direction it's going. It's been a tremendous breath of fresh air in terms of the youthful exuberance that's been out here every single day. Their willingness to listen, their willingness to want to learn. They're competing and playing awfully hard, and we're not having to beg for that. I've been really pleased with the culture, and you can tell that there's guys in this program who have achieved a great deal to this point, and they know what that takes, and that's fun to be around.
Coach, you've been around Adam Fletcher for about 17 months now, and he had a very busy summer with a bunch of new players. What have you just observed watching him work with them, about 8 new players, and trying to get them ready for what you're expecting?
Well, I think in today's world, Fletch and our strength coaches are guys that are vital. They actually spend as much time or more time with them than we do, and the message that he sends is the message our program is about. And not only is he demanding in terms of what he does and asks for our players, he gets them better, but he's also a guy that works the mental part of it, and he can build a lot of things in that weight room. And we have a saying that the weight room never lies, and Fletch challenges him in a lot of areas, just from nutrition to strength to speed to jumping, you name it. And he's the best in the country, and we're very fortunate, and our players are very fortunate to have him.
Brad, this sounds like some NCAA changes will come to recruiting in the summer. What do you think of the proposals, and do you think things need to change, or do you think this is for the benefit of college basketball?
Well, I think there's I'll hold judgment till we obviously see. I think August 8th is the final deadline. You've seen so much, and then we talk in July on the road. I think there's so many great things that come out of summer basketball. I think the one thing that we can't do is just lump everybody into one group and say, this is the way it is. AAU basketball started years ago because it was to help in a cost-effective measure for low to mid-major schools to be able to go to a venue and see multiple kids, and I don't think we should lose sight of that. I think there's a lot of great AAU coaches and great programs who do a lot of good for young people, and yet there probably will be change. We'll see how all that turns out. I think there's opportunity for opportunities in the month of June that I would love to have the opportunity to go see, top 100 camp at NBA, and the Morris Shootout in this state I grew up going to when we could go is a wonderful venue and an event. So we'll see how all that plays out, but I would expect there to be some. There's no doubt the Rice Commission's put a lot of time into that, and we'll see those very soon.
How's the class of 2019 pursuit then compared to the class of 2018 when you guys first got here?
Well, we've got relationships, and I think the one thing with relationships is you have a certain level of comfort, and you know them much better than you did a year ago at this time. So I think you've in today's culture, you recruit every position pretty much. You don't get too dialed in because your roster can change from year to year, but I think it's been much more a little bit at ease. I think it's been better for our staff knowing that exactly what we're looking for, exactly what I'm looking for, and like I said, I got one of the best staffs in the country, so I feel great about the direction these guys are going.
You talked last season about DeMonte coming in early to get shots with Aaron. Is there one guy this summer that you just can't seem to get out of the gym?
Georgie's that guy. It's Georgie's a guy that wakes up early. Tevian's another one that they spend endless hours in this gym. Georgie had a run there where he wasn't sleeping very well, and he would be in here at 5:30 in the morning and meeting Fletch, and that's the kind of commitment that the winners have, and Tev and Allen and I, all those guys, they do it at different times of the day. But this group all works, and they're not going to get any complaints from me about not putting enough time in the gym in.
I've heard Georgie brought the full package of personality too. If you noticed that?
You guys will find out soon enough that Georgie has Georgie's got a bicycle that he doesn't know how to ride but thinks he does, and his flip-flops are his brakes, and yet he's fun. He is definitely an energy giver, not an energy taker, and love that personality, and it becomes very contagious. Io's a guy that's full of personality as well, and that's something that was very much needed, and they provide that.
How's the